Oh my God, not another girl talking about Emily Henry. How much more basic can it get? What if I also told you I primarily read romance books and that I like fictional men more than real men? God, she's so basic. Hello everyone, my name's Emily and today we're gonna be talking about my favorite author named Emily. Yeah. Such a popular name, you gotta double check. Miss Emily Henry herself. If you are new to reading, already a veteran in the game, or looking to get more into romance, this is for you. We're gonna be going through all of Emily Henry's books, whether they might be for you or whatnot. So without further ado, make sure you grab a snack, grab a fun bevy. I have my little banana, my little banana milk I got from a Korean convenience store. It tastes exactly like a banana Laffy Taffy. I can only have it in small doses. It's quite sweet. But let's get into it. So to give you a little bit backstory about Miss Emily Henry, she is one of the most popular romance writers currently. You've seen any type of book talk, booktube, bookstagram posts with any relation to romance or not even romance at all, you've probably seen at least one Emily Henry book just because they're so popular. Miss Emily Henry started off writing more science fiction fantasy and transitioned into the romance realm where she really blew up, and that's where her career skyrocketed. We're gonna go through these through publishing order, but with a little bit of an asterisk. We're gonna start with her romance books though. To start us off, Emily Henry's People We Meet on Vacation. This story follows two individuals who met in college. They immediately became best friends, and every year after college they go on an annual trip together. Naturally, I think 6 or 7 trips go by, and or not naturally, you can be friends with members of the opposite sex and not develop romantic feelings. This is not When Harry Met Sally. They develop romantic feelings for each other though, and it's very confusing because it's kind of like right person, wrong time, where one of them is in a relationship or they're going through something mentally.
That's rough, buddy.
This book follows a dual timeline, so you're constantly flashing back between present day and their different annual trips. You kind of see like there's something that happens that you know they no longer talk, and you're like, what led up to this that got us there? And you're watching that progression happen. This is Emily Henry's first book that's going to be made into a movie, I think coming out this year 2025. I Will Be Sat. It follows our cute characters Alex and Poppy. This one might be one of my favorites from like a trope standpoint. I love a good like deep friendship development, slowly like flirtatious behavior into lovers situation. I feel like that's just one of the most wholesome vibe. So if you want to dip your toes into Emily Henry, what did I just say? Emily Henry. If you want to dip your toes into Emily Henry or start off with romance, I'd highly recommend starting with this one. This was my first Emily Henry book I read as well. I feel like she's just a good starter, the Emily Henry starter pack and whatnot. So cute and so fun though. It's also been many years since I've read this, so she always likes to have a lot more of a sentimental edge to it, especially like from a piece of family, whether it's blood related or found family. I don't remember one as much in this, but it's also been a little bit. Our next one, Beach Read, arguably, I cannot speak. Oh my, you guys, it's Friday. I've used all my words for the week. We're done. Let's wrap it up. Call it quits. Beach Read, I believe, is her most popular book. This book follows two individuals who were previously rivals in college. Now they are both authors and they find themselves running into each other in this small Michigan town. They're both there for different reasons, kind of reconnecting but still writing, and they challenge each other to write the other's genres because he writes much more documentary-esque. I don't even know if that's the right word for the book, at least, where it's like more of, I don't want to say a biography, more nonfiction, we'll say, where he bases it off of like people's lives and real stories and much more serious topics. And she likes to write romance. So by challenging each other, they agree that they'll do their research together as well. So she takes them on like really cutesy dates to show him like, these are things that my characters might do, or like how feelings develop, stuff like that. And then she goes with him as she attempts to write a story more in his genre, a little bit more serious, with like more interviewing people, getting to know them to their core and whatnot. There's also a very strong family focused element in this one as well. I did cry reading it. Something I know with most of her stories is they don't just follow primarily the romance. It is a romance book, but there's often something else going on, which I prefer typically. Like I need those fluffy romances to keep my brain kind of just moving along nice and light, but she doesn't necessarily do that. So just a heads up. I love them so much. Out of all of her books, this is me being biased, I reread this one immediately after I finished it. It was that good. That tells you anything. A lot of people also, I think, I've heard they start with this one as well. So you could potentially. Our next one is Book Lovers. Book Lovers is for my city girls, It's a classic like Hallmark city girl goes to small town and finds love. But it's funny because it's kind of a interesting commentary on the other woman, in the sense of like every Hallmark movie where the girl goes back to the town and reconnects with her family or whatever and finds the guy from there who she grew up with, but he's in a relationship with this girl who is such a go-getter and neglects him for her career and all that. This is about that girl. This is about the other woman who is that go-getter, so career-driven, pushes everything else aside. We're not necessarily prioritizing romance in their lives. I adore this book so much. It's about Miss Nora. She has to go to a small town for... Can I tell you why? Oh, I can't tell you why. She goes on a sister's trip. Her sister begs her to go away, so they go to this cute little town. She ends up running into Charlie. They work in the publishing industry, and they kind of started off on a rocky start. So when she runs into him, she's like, oh, great. Not this guy. This guy stinks. This book does a great job of promoting, embracing who you are, not changing for others. She very much reflects on like, I'm so family driven and career driven. I kind of push all romantic interests aside, but still finding someone that will appreciate you and you don't have to change for them. And they'll embrace you for your flaws and your wonderful qualities. Something I always note with Book Lovers is this one will hit especially hard for the eldest daughters. That's why it's a little bit more personal to me. So if you're an eldest daughter, highly recommend reading. It's great. But also if you like a little city girl meets small town romance with kind of very grumpy characters that are quite posh, and I love that about them, very much city folk, you will like this one. Our next one, Happy Place. Happy Place. Happy Place is going to be the heaviest book from a mental. Oh my gosh, can we like relax? Emily Henry talked about how after writing this was the book that took the biggest toll on her mentally, just because it's so, I don't want to say dark, but there's a lot more discussion around mental health and self-reflection, how we like see our worth in others' eyes, if we kind of accommodate ourselves to make other people happy. A lot more emotional topics, we'll say, with this. This story follows Wynn and Harriet, who have been the stable, constant couple in their friend group for years. Like, it's just kind of a given that they're always together. They're gonna end up together, kind of the friend group, just this is who they are. Every year their friend group has a little bit of a getaway and they kind of all go hang out, they go catch up on lives, have that little bonding moment. So cute, so fun. But they have been broken up for 5 months and they don't really want to disturb the peace, so they pretend to still be together. So imagine like you're going on this trip with your closest friends and you have to pretend you're still in a relationship with someone when these people like know you from the inside out. This might be a controversial opinion. I would probably not recommend starting with Happy Place. I've told my friends who I know are chronic people pleasers and not mentally stable. I myself am not mentally stable, but I know my friends well, to not read this one first, just because I think it is quite heavy. But I also know people that this is their #1 favorite Emily Henry book, and they adore it, they love it. They love the reflection, so just a little bit of a preface that it's gonna be a little bit more heavy. And if you're into that, you like love those types of books, start with Descent, please, actually. I'm just not. I felt quite stressed reading it. But that's okay. We also love a little found family with friends. We love that. Our next one is Funny Story. Funny Story is such an interesting concept. It's about these two individuals who are in relationships with other people, but these other people decide, hey, we want to get together. Daphne and Miles are then broken up with, and Daphne is kicked out of her home and moves in with Miles because she's like, I need a roommate. Daphne and her ex were engaged at the time, so she is mourning this relationship along with what was supposed to be a forever future. And Miles is our laid back, seemingly very chill guy who is completely heartbroken over this. This book, I think it's just such a beautifully written story about grieving a relationship, grieving who you were in a relationship, and kind of reassessing your identity, who you are just single by yourself, and they help each other throughout all of this. What's so funny is she's just very much like type A, practical, this is how it is, but now she, like, her whole life is like, oh yeah, my fiance, he got back together with his childhood best friend. Or not got back together, they were never together in the first place. He got together with his childhood best friend. I don't have anywhere to live. She is a children's librarian and she's doing a program with them, so she can't leave. And Miles is just like very laid back, chill guy, not as organized as Daphne, but they find solace in each other and they really help each other kind of unpack who they were in the relationship and really trauma bond about how terrible of a situation they are both in, where these people just were like, peace, I'm gonna go be with this other person now, bye. Funny Story is just, it's very cutesy, very heartwarming, and a good time. Our last romance specific one is Great Big Beautiful Life. I do not own this book because I'm gonna be waiting for it to be either a little bit cheaper from half price books or a thrifted store, or once I am off my full price book buying ban, I will purchase it. But Great Big Beautiful Life is Emily Henry's most recent release. It follows two authors who are competing to write a memoir about this famous socialite. She comes from this insanely successful family, one that like generations and generations and generations have been followed by the media, and she is ready to tell her story and share the secrets about what being a famous socialite is actually about. Since Alice and Hayden are both, those are the names of the authors, they're both interviewing Margaret, the socialite. They signed NDAs, so they really can only talk to each other kind of about this, but not really, because they're still in competition, so they don't want to show their hand, you know? Alice is so bubbly and upbeat and very much half glass full, and Hayden is just very blunt, will not tell you things just to be polite or nice. Very much kind of opposites attract here. Besides all of the discourse and discussion around the socialite's life, we also dive a lot more into Alice's potentially toxic positivity side. I think if I were to have read this book in college when I still had much more of a toxic positivity mindset, this book would have hit a lot harder than it did now, just because the real world really jades you. As morbid as that is, but this is a really great book to kind of reflect on when being positive might be hurting ourselves more than actually helping others. Hayden has a lot of discussion. He's also a Purdue boy. Barely a spoiler, doesn't really matter. Discussions about kind of his childhood and why he's so closed off, and he's just very much down to business. I will note with this one, to me personally, the romance is the most on the back burner. The primary emphasis of the story is on the socialite's life. So if you like fun, crazy family drama where you just think things can't get worse, but they do, you will enjoy this. Lots of family drama, lots of plot twists. I would say this book had I don't really know if the other ones really have plot twists. This book had a huge plot twist that I was like, what is happening? Oh my gosh. I highly recommend reading. And then my last one, so I have a confession. This is a library copy. I haven't read it yet, but I wanted to read all of Emily Henry's books. This is one of her pre-romance jump books. It's science fiction. Let's read it together and we'll figure it out. For as long as Jack or June, Emily and June, has been alive, her parents have had only one rule: stay away from the Angered family. But when June collides, quite literally, with Saul Angered, sparks fly and everything June has always known is thrown into chaos. Who exactly is this gruff, sarcastic, but seemingly harmless boy who has returned to their hometown of Five Fingers, Michigan after 3 mysterious years away? And why has June and O'Donnell, to her core, never questioned her late father's deep hatred of the Angered family? After all, the O'Donnells and the Angereds may have mystic legacies, but for all the tall tales they weave, both founding families are tight-lipped about what caused the century-old rift between them. As Saul and June's connection grows deeper, they find that the magic, ghosts, and coy wolves of Five Fingers seem to be conspiring to reveal the truth about the harrowing curse that has plagued their bloodlines for generations. Now June must question everything she knows about her family and the father she adored, and she must decide whether it's finally time for her and the O'Donnells before her to let go. Ooh, so it sounds like there's a little bit of a romance potentially, but also like more of those like mystical, mysterious ambience to it, you know, with magic and a curse. I'm excited. I honestly can't really speak on what this book is about. I think it's young adult or it's teen. I'll let you guys know what I think. If you follow my Goodreads story guide for Fable, you'll see it there for sure. That's an all-inclusive, comprehensive guide of all things Emily Henry. Ugh, you guys. At this point, she's a must-read, automatic read for me, automatic buy if I weren't on a book buying ban for full price books. I really enjoy her writing. I've seen a lot of interesting discourse about her books recently, and I don't know. Let me know what your favorite Emily Henry book is. Let me know if you're new to reading and which one you want to start off with, or which one sounds the most exciting. Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week. Make sure you're subscribed, like the video, turn on bell notifications, all of that, so you don't miss any of the fun here. I'll let you go for now, but otherwise, follow Instagram and TikTok. All right, now we're done. All right, Emily, let's wrap it up. Okay, bye.